My Summer Car, a game which states in its release trailer, this is not a fun game. A game of such cultural importance to the people of Finland, it has its own place in a Finnish museum. In this video, I will be attempting one of the most difficult achievements in the game, Flying Finn. To earn this achievement, all we have to do is win the local weekend rally. It is much harder than it sounds. In order to do this, we need to rebuild the car, get the car running, somehow get the car past inspection, take it home, strip it and rebuild it with all sorts of illegal and dangerous aftermarket parts, give it a tasteful anime girl wrap, and finally, rally. While this all sounds easy, even the most veteran hardcore gamer will struggle with the advanced mechanics of this game, such as having to take regular showers and interact with women. Complicating this process, this achievement must be completed in permadeath mode, where dying deletes your save file entirely, and if you know anything about this game, death lurks around every corner, especially the blind ones. Starvation, dehydration, funny brain bleed, car crash, anaphylactic shock from wasps, fuel pump explosion. There's a lot that can kill you here, and this is where the game reveals itself. While the casual observer may think this is a racing game, this game's true identity is a survival horror in the most nightmarish setting ever devised, rural Finland. Now I know what you're thinking.
But Mr. Krembrul, this genre is saturated. There are as many survival games on Steam as there are self-inspired YouTubers making videos about this game. Do we really need another one that is worse in every way?
My answer is yes. Because this time, it's different. Unlike most survival games that focus on punching trees to gather wood, so you can build wooden fists to punch rocks, My Summer Car's survival mechanics are based entirely around Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where the lower needs must be fulfilled before the higher ones. And just like the pyramid shows, we will need the necessities of life, things like beer and sausage, a safe place to sleep and live, and a healthy social circle before we could even think about that rally. Or even what comes after.
How is baby formed? How girl get pregnant?
Starting the game up, we have a variety of factory colors to choose from. I chose red, because obviously, red ones go faster. I named myself Soja Poika, took an ID quality photo, and began. After a graphic live birth scene, we are placed in our parents' house in the beautiful Finnish countryside in 1995. Soja Poika has just turned 19 and now has the right to do whatever he wants, so long as it isn't illegal and is possible in the Finnish countryside of 1995. As anyone who has ever lived in a rural area can tell you, this basically means there's nothing to do. Our only lead to relieving our boredom is a note from our parents, basically saying they've gone on a neighborhood association trip, leaving us home alone with our two older sisters. Wait a minute. Whoops, wrong script. They have gone on a mysterious vacation, leaving us home alone with our dad's old 1974 Satsuma. The note goes on to tell us that the car is ours if we can get it running, and also don't drink alcohol. Got it. In the front driveway is the car in question. Completely disassembled, missing vital components, and covered in a layer of rust, it's going to take a lot of work to get it going, let alone in shape to win the rally. But this car is our baby, and like any baby not born into poverty, with enough tender love and care, it will do incredible things. So, naturally, like any good father, we immediately shotgun half a case of beer, piss all over the living room, leave our baby in the front driveway, head down the dirt path, take the boat and the moped, and make our way to the local gas station to buy lotto tickets, smokes, and most importantly, more beer. Now that we have the bare minimum we need to survive in this harsh and unforgiving world, it was time to actually buy things for the new car. Gas for the car, diesel for the tractor, brake fluid, alternator belt, motor oil, light bulbs, battery, oil filter, spark plugs, fuses, batteries, a stylish wheel cover, and most importantly, sausages. Now here is the reason why I brought the moped and the boat. See, the moped can only be used to carry 2 items at a time, so taking it alone isn't useful for all these groceries. Meanwhile, the dock is a decent walk away, but by using both vehicles together, we can get all this back before it gets dark. Several moped runs later, and we are ready to hold the throttle open for 10 minutes while the boat slowly returns us home. Back home, it was time to work on My Summer Car. So far, we haven't really looked at the car itself at all, but a quick peek in the garage will show you that just about everything is disassembled. In total, there are over 100 parts that need to be installed, with some requiring tuning before the car will run. To build it, every part must be placed roughly where it needs to go, and some need to be installed in a certain order. Put the cylinder head on before the pistons? Enjoy pulling it apart again to put them in, idiot! Once you place a part, these things appear. These are bolts. Every bolt in this game has a specific size, and every size corresponds to a single wrench. Looking back through my footage, I spent over an hour just grabbing wrenches, finding out they were the wrong size, grabbing a new wrench, trying again, and so on. Oh, what's that? You forgot to tighten a single bolt? Enjoy that part violently flying off the car once you reach 100 kilometers an hour. Parts also degrade, meaning that we'll have to regularly pull the engine apart to replace them. When I started this game, I had no idea how a car engine worked. I know a lot more now. So, before we go over building the car, a brief lesson on internal combustion engines. Every piston in an engine drives the crankshaft using the power of a small explosion, fueled by a mixture of air and fuel, and started by a spark from a spark plug. Basically, the piston extends, pulling the AFR into the now empty space. Next, momentum drives the piston upwards and compresses the AFR, which is detonated at its peak by the spark plug. The explosion drives the piston down, which powers the rotation of the crankshaft. As the piston is pushed back up, it vents the exhaust fumes out the other side, and the cycle continues. Each piston repeats this cycle rapidly, and this is what makes the crankshaft spin. The crankshaft is then used to spin the alternator, which charges the battery and provides the car with electricity to power lights, spark plugs, and other very important parts. It also drives the water pump, which pumps piss throughout the engine. Very important. Now that we have established the purpose of the engine is to spin, the high IQ viewer may have noticed something. That's right, the wheels spin too! Could these phenomena be related? Let's investigate. The Satsuma is a manual transmission front-wheel drive car. This means that the front wheels are the ones given power, so they connect directly to the gearbox. They have to be driven by half shafts because they also must be able to turn, but it means no power needs to be transmitted to the rear of the car, which simplifies the overall design. A manual car is one that needs to have each gear shift performed by the driver. My fellow Americans may be wondering why this car has a third pedal. Is it the nitrous like Vin Diesel uses in Need for Speed? No. This pedal controls the clutch, which is a high-pressure disc that separates the engine from the wheels. This is necessary to change gears. Why do we need gears? If we just connected the engine to the wheels directly, the car wouldn't be able to drive slower than around 60 kilometers an hour without stalling. Not particularly useful when the car starts from a standstill. So to remedy this, we use gear ratios. When meshing two gears of different sizes together, the net result is a change in speed and power from the driving gear to the driven gear. In general, know that speed and power are inversely related. Faster speeds mean less power, and more power means slower speed. Using this, we started a low gear to achieve maximum power to start the car from a standstill, but once we were up to speed, we can use larger gears. There's some skill to driving manual, but at this point, I've delayed long enough. It's time to start building my summer car. Ready, set, go! Block, crankshaft, main bearings, pistons, 1 through 4, head gasket, cylinder head, headers, rocker shaft, rocker cover, spark plugs, camshaft gear, timing chain, timing cover, water pump pulley, crankshaft pulley, alternator belt, distributor, engine plate, starter, flywheel, clutch pressure plate, clutch cover plate, clutch disc, oil pan, gearbox, inspection cover, drive gear, carburetor, air filter, fuel pump, oil filter. Are we done yet? No. Subframe, steering rack, steering column, wishbones, spindles, steering rods, disc brakes, half shafts, struts, trail arms, coil springs, shock absorbers, drum brakes, finally, putting the engine in the car, electrics, fuel strainer, radiator hoses, clutch master cylinder, clutch lining, brake master cylinder, brake lining, fuel tank pipe, exhaust pipe, muffler, gear linkage, steering wheel, fancy wheel cover, gear stick, handbrake, driver seat, dashboard, clock, dashboard meters, radio, light bulbs, rear lights, time for wiring, fuel tank, rear lights, headlights, ignition, regulator, positive terminal, radiator, instruments, ignition switch, radio, light switch, starter, ground, alternator, fluids, motor oil, clutch and brake lines, and piss for the very thirsty radiator. Piss is apparently just as cool and fluid. I don't know. I'm not a mechanic. Are we done now? No. Obviously, the doors and body panels aren't on yet. It is at this point I realize that we don't have any tires for the car either. But at this point, the integral parts of the car are all installed, and it should, theoretically, be possible to start the engine in neutral. So, I turn the key and... nothing. I checked the engine and realized I didn't bolt in the battery. Attempt number 2. This time, the starter turned over, but the car didn't start. I pulled the battery and checked it again. Everything looked in order until I took the gas tank and realized I forgot to fill it. Yeah, that'll do it. I filled her up, and attempt number 3. Something else is wrong now. I pulled the battery and put it back on the charger, again. I couldn't think of anything else that wouldn't be installed correctly at this point, so I tried tuning it instead. So I made the AFR richer, putting more gas in the engine, and this would hopefully make for a better cold start. Attempt number 4. This time, it actually started no problem at all. It helped that I was using the choke right this time. But the engine immediately made a popping noise, and it was making a tinking noise as it ran. Also, it didn't idle properly and died after a few seconds of running. The popping noise is called backfiring. It happens when there's fuel in either the intake or the exhaust of the car exploding in a place it's not supposed to explode. Obviously, this is bad. Usually the cause is a bad air-fuel mixture ratio, although without a gauge it'd be difficult to know exactly if it was too rich or too lean. After some playing around, I managed to make the car idle, though I still didn't know the exact AFR it was using. Now it's time to solve the other issue. This sound is caused by the valves on the rocker shaft either being too loose or too tight, and letting in or out too much air. I didn't know exactly what I was doing, but after some fiddling around, the tinking noise stopped, so I assumed it was good. So the car officially runs. Well, in the garage on blocks, we can't exactly drive without wheels. In the meantime, I had eaten through most of my supplies, and Grandma had called offering to pay me to be her DoorDash delivery driver, so it's time to head back to Timo's. Before leaving, I prepped a mail order for an AFR gauge and a set of extra gauges, which show the AFR, battery charge, water pressure, and oil pressure. These aren't really required, but this information would make working on the car significantly easier. I grabbed my letter, hopped on the Jones, and was off. Riding a bike is hard, okay? I got to Timo's, put the order in the mail, grabbed my groceries, and headed back to get the food in the fridge. Hold on a minute. This man deserves his own introduction. This is Cousin Penna, someone who we'll be seeing a lot more of throughout this journey, for better or worse, usually for worse. Cousin Penna is a simple man. He likes driving fast and hard, going 60 to 80 kilometers an hour down the back roads of whatever you call this place. A man like this could probably win the rally without even trying, if he was ever sober enough to enter. Regardless, he will patrol the back roads at high speed with suspiciously low reaction time, and represents a constant danger when not driving on the highway. It isn't all bad though. Penna's nice enough to offer rides to the player when the Satsuma inevitably gets stuck in a ditch, and you can feel secure putting your life in his hands. Penna is also something of a philosopher, and he lives his life according to the words of the great poet and thinker Ludacris. I'm DUI, hardly ever caught sober, and you about to get ran the fuck over. And that's it. Like I said, this is permadeath mode, meaning the last 8 hours I spent building the car, tuning it, and getting it running is gone. My only choice is to go back and start over from scratch. Alright, look, I'll be honest, the next several runs didn't go any better, so instead of going through them one by one and wasting everyone's time, here's a quick death compilation instead. Ready, set, go! Run number 1. Death by Penna. Run number 2. Death by changing fuses without turning the power off. Run number 3. I found out that chips are the only food in this game that doesn't spoil, so I decided to live off of chips, without knowing that they greatly increase thirst. Death by dehydration. Run number 4. Death by Penna. Run number 5. Death by Penna. Run number 6. Death by Penna. Run number 7. Took the tractor to the dance pavilion on Saturday, got thrown out for pissing on the floor, and saw this. I forgot to put the parking brake on. There's no way to get the tractor out of the lake, and the game isn't really playable without it, so I swam until I couldn't anymore. Death by acceptance of fate. Run number 8. Got a present from Uncle, pressed F on the bottle of booze, causing Soja to shotgun an entire liter of 80 proof vodka. Was too drunk to work on the car, so went to chop wood instead. Death by drunken axe swinging. Run number 9. But this run is worth talking about. And if you want to know exactly when the next video is out, you can do the YouTube thing. Come on, I know you can see it. It's right there if you're on PC. If you're on TV or mobile, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I don't know what the UIs look like off the top of my head, but I'm sure you can find it if you look hard enough. Did you do it? Okay, good job.